Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our mini-series, Dajjal, Corruptor of Clays. In this episode, let's discuss traits, qualities, and characteristics of Dajjal. Now, the Dajjal is the lying Messiah. He is the Antichrist. He is the pseudo-Messiah, the fake Messiah. He is a murderer and a corrupter of the earth. I call him the corruptor of clays because he's a corrupter of the earth. He's following the satanic paradigm and prerogative to deceive and delude humanity and to prove that we are murderous and corruptors of the earth. And so I would argue that we are in an event related to his crowning, and that there's a mass blood sacrifice taking place in order to bring about his rule within this world. We will discuss in other episodes various aspects of him and his attempted rule over humanity and the world. But first, let's begin with a few basics about him. So he's as I said, he is the liar. He is the corrupter of clays. He's a purveyor of devil tech. Devil tech is technology that infiltrates the human body through food and food-like substances, through absorptive means, into our bloodstreams, into our digestive tracts, into our mouths, into our eyes, our ears, our skin, our environments, through cleaning products, through body products, through foodstuffs and drinks that are toxic and detrimental to our minds, to our bodily and genetic integrity. He toxifies and pollutes our bloodstreams and our genetic coding if he could. So that's why I call him the corrupter of clays. He is the liar. So he's engaged in deception. He's a saboteur. He's an infiltrator. Now, in the Hadith, it has many descriptions of him that people take very literally. I believe that we need to have an expansive literalism and take a holistic reading of all things that includes etymologies, reading in context, intertextually, intertraditionally, and extra-textually and extra-traditionally, in the sense that we read within the Quranic context, within the Hadith context, within the Hadith Quran context, within the broader prophetic tradition, within comparative religion, etc. We look at words and etymologies, their word histories. Also, we look at cognates within other traditions, and cognates as far as similar figures, similar characters with similar traits, qualities, and characteristics. That brings us to his traits, characteristics, and qualities. Some of the ways he's been described, he is often described as one-eyed. Some people take this very literally. Some people think this is related to AI and to transhumanism. This is a distinct possibility. I think that it could be a human who is able to interface with AI, to drive AI and utilize the 5-6G frameworks in order to transfer his consciousness throughout this and collate data. And so, or he could be a person with a certain genetic line that is then possessed by AI, which has no soul. And AI is kind of like the digital realm is an artificial spiritual expression. It's an artificial spiritual reality, but not a real reality. It's an artificial reality. Also, we have like Christ as the Logos, the expression of the prophetic reality, the word of Allah. And this is related to intelligence. And then we have artificial intelligence. So artificial Christ, artificial intelligence, artificial logos. It's interesting, these various ways of conceptualizing. Also, we've got Dajjal, we could view as an individual, but we could also look at the same way we can view Mahdi and Messiah as an individual, as a community of companions, as a larger community, as a collective. So Dajjal can be a collective expression of if you've got Messiah if we conceptualize of Messiah in a collective manner as a spiritually mature collective of humanity, as the harvest of spiritually evolved humanity, then Dajjal would be the opposite of that, would be a false expression of mature humanity, a false evolution. So transhumanism is a false expression. See, the true spiritual maturity of humanity is in our organic form, with our DNA intact, and in living in a garden-like, ethical, and energetically pure manner. We've never achieved this maturation and this perfection yet as a whole. And so right now there is an attempt to take us down this dark transhuman route, which is Antichrist and Dajjalic, and heavily involved with devil tech. So nano, robotics, 5G, AI, and genetic modification of food and the entire environment of the air, the water, the soil, the foodstuffs, etc. So it's a total transformation of our entire, not only our entire external world, but our internal world and our bodily integrity. So Dajjal is one-eyed. One eye is limited vision and lacking depth perception. So Dajjal lacks depth perception. He cannot see clearly. He does not see expansively. So he has a damaged vision. He has a damaged vision for humanity and a damaged self-image. Also, he is hunchbacked, so he is not upright. He is pigeon-toed, so he does not walk the straight path. So also, he is mutilated and not beautiful in form. So he has been transformed in some ugly manner. Notice that when people engage in evil over time, sometimes their facial features take on an evil expression. As they get older, they become manifestly evil looking, kind of like the stereotypical witch, that she's beautiful, and for many years she's drinking blood and engaged in, you know, the magical manipulation of matter through vibratics and additives and synthetics in order to stay beautiful and lovely. And then eventually, like the Hollywood celebrity, she engages in various operations and Botox treatments and, you know, ugly foods. And then the next thing you know, she's transformed. She's disgusting and ugly. And then we can actually see her internal state manifested externally. The same thing occurs, or kind of like the Emperor in Star Wars. You know, he's this normal looking guy, and eventually his magical powers transform him into it goes back on him, and he's transformed into a demonic looking being. And by the same token, someone who's engaged in righteousness, they might not be a handsome or beautiful person when they're young. But through their spiritual practice and their healthy behavior, they become so kindly looking and beautified to where they're beautiful when they're old. Or if somebody's engaged in beautiful behaviors all their life, then they have an energy field around them. And you can read excellence and beauty with them. So Dajjal, I would say, just think about how to read Dajjal. Now, we need to check ourselves and make sure we're not engaged in self-deception and self-delusion, that we are reading reality accurately, that we are present and mindful and rooted in the very present moment, that we are rooted in the prophetic characteristics and qualities, which are always Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. So mercy and compassion and justice and accurate seeing of reality, reading the inner and the outer properly, that we are behaved in an ethical manner, which is not rule following. That is not ethics. There's so many rule followers that are very unethical people, and most rules to follow are actually quite unethical when you analyze them properly. So true ethics is always about non-harming and eliminating harm and minimizing harm towards self and others in thought, word, and deed. And to read reality, this is justice, to see and behave in an honest, truthful manner, and that this is justice, to sift a vast data set and analyze it accurately, to discern properly, to judge. We don't want to prejudge. We don't want to misjudge. We want to judge accurately, meaning to assess and discern as it really is. This is justice. So this is how we measure ourselves. We need to measure ourselves against Dajjalic behavior. Are we behaving in a Dajjalic manner in any way? And we need to purify and come out of that and repent of it and not behave in this manner whatsoever. We should not be supremacist and bigoted toward humanity, toward ourselves. So don't engage in supremacy and bigotry or inferiority complexes towards self and others, So don't engage in mockery and cursing with the tongue. It's dirty behavior. It darkens the heart. And Dajjalic behavior is a heart-sealing process. It's to behave in selfish ways over time repetitively, because everything is prayer. Then over time, it seals the heart and cuts us off from one another, and then makes us behave in satanic ways. So we want to avoid that. We don't want to go down the satanic Dajjalic path. So may we purify ourselves of all devil tech and all Dajjalic behavior, and may we be protected from false leaders who want to vampiristically behave toward us, sucking our energy away, cannibalizing us, and engaging in character assassination so that they can feed off of the carcass of their brothers and sisters. Astaghfirullah, this dirty behavior and its satanic behavior. May we not engage in mockery nor cursing. May we not behave in any deceptive manner, self-deceptive or self-delusional behavior. May we be real and authentic people rooted in the very moment, ethical and pure. All right, so until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.